Little Boy in the Grass. So this is the last one from this initial Running with the Wolves EP, which had Runaway and Running with the Wolves on it. These two songs didn't quite make it onto All My Demons Greeting Me as a Friend, which I find a bit sad. I think they might get added. Do they get added? No, not even to the deluxe version. Yeah, whereas we do get at least an acoustic version of Murder Song, which is coming next. And we do get Through the Eyes of a Child, which is the other one coming next from Adolescence. But we don't get Little Boy in the Grass and In Boxes, which I think is a bit sad. I really like In Boxes, and Little Boy in the Grass is really, well, it's got some unusual elements to it. Let's hear it. And we really just got those two things, the vocal and the piano. There's a little bit of a tap from something in the studio, maybe near the piano. After pass, there's this click. But that's not its own instrument, and we're not going to shame whoever recorded this. To be honest, I like the homespun nature of things like that. We've just got those two things. Our verse is clearly in two mirror sections, not mirror sections, but exact replica sections. They're the same, just with different words. Why would we call that one verse with two of the same section rather than two verses? I think really it's just because of the length. Yeah, so it takes up about 20 seconds. 18 seconds for both verses. So 9 seconds is not really long enough to establish a section unless you've got some really chaotic stuff going on. So I think really this feels like one verse with a repetition of the first half in the second half. But in that first half, what do we have? Well, we have 3 chords. The third chord holds on into the fourth part, and it does again feel like 2 weighted halves. So ba da 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 is the last half, and tired soul as he told me he could hear the chill. Da 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 da. So it's a little more forward moving in the first half, and then we have that longer note in the second half. They have some similarities as well. Ba da happens in both of them. Hi Francis Inc. Thank you for checking in. Hey, God, who doesn't love the classic, iconic Dorian chord change? So Aurora's singing a lot stronger in this part, right? She was up a lot higher before, and she was singing it in a soft falsetto, and then in this section much stronger modal voice or mix, very clear and present and nasal, strong sound, bright as well. So that's a textural element, as well as it being just really nice to listen to. It's the only thing that really has that bite to it. The drums and the piano feel quite warm, murky. The piano's doing some fun arpeggios, quite low, and the drums similarly. Yeah, there's nothing hitting that high range as far as I can tell. This feels comparable to the beginning. We haven't got the same thing happening, and it's an octave lower, but it's similar. It's sort of like a reminiscence of that, but in a more ambient space and with some whispers. And the whispers are fun, aren't they? You wouldn't get whispers in most tracks. If you got whispers in most tracks and someone's I think I don't know. whispers feel a bit special, don't they? Like you're in on a secret. And so if someone's always whispering to you, does it start to ruin the special nature of that quite intimate thing? I think probably it does. But then people really love ASMR, don't they? Yeah, you love that. Sorry. Yeah, but there's a whisper there, and that's therefore an unusual textural element. So this is very similar to the verse that we had before. Yeah, and we only had one verse before, but Aurora songs seem to be split about whether they have two verses or one verse. And it might be to do with length, actually, thinking about it, because we did argue about that having two verses. Interesting. Well, here's our verse 2, or maybe our verse 3 and 4, if you like. But the texture's much thicker than it was that first time. We've got that low kick drum smashing through. The piano is doing a whole lot more. The piano is moving in arpeggiated figures like it was doing in the chorus, but a little less oppressively.
Run from the violence, the world is way too cold and bright.
Might have a synth on the low notes as well. Boom, boom, boom on those. There might be a synth there as well, just pretty subtly, but keeping those lower resonances, pinning things down. Moving with the main vocal. So that happened in the pre-chorus the first time. It didn't happen in the verse. So in the verse this time we've added that extra harmony vocal in, preempting the pre-chorus, where we actually get another one. So the 3, classic 3 voice punch. So we've got on still, we've got still, and we've got still, and we've got still, I think. Let's just hear it again.
Still.
No, we've not. We've got still, that's our lowest harmony. We've got still, which is the main vocal. And then we've got still as well. And they all move up in tandem. So working. But actually, as Aurora gets to that higher note, the higher harmony seems to disappear, which I think is a bit of a shame. Okay, so this time this pre-chorus is half as long as it was last time. So maybe we are making something that Aurora does, shortening that pre-chorus before the second chorus. And that's an effective trick, and it's worked the same way in both of these ones. Brings your perspective suddenly to a new thing. This time it works, I guess, a tiny bit differently because the chorus starts in the pre-chorus. That da-da-do-do-do-do-do happens before the texture changes for the chorus. Okay, here we've got tick, 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 giving us some higher, scratchy, I mean, some imitation hi-hat sound. Giving us an extra bit of rhythm as well, so that's nice. Vocal there, but it's a bit swamped by the piano, and it's only in the right earphone. Okay, this sounds like another hook, doesn't it? And suddenly we've got a lot more percussion. Yeah, 2 voices, percussion, piano. Piano sounds like it's going to be doing the same thing it did in the chorus, so this is almost like an extension to the chorus. And yeah, the drums. So yeah, kick drum and hi-hat basically. The hi-hat is actually, there's one thing doing a hi-hat thing in the left ear and one thing doing one in the right ear, and they're doing different things. So this fills the pan space as well as the frequency spectrum. So So this is again our exploration beginning, isn't it? Our bridge, new new information, new ideas, yeah, new melody, material, new material. There we go. Finally, new material, and again we have done the classic bringing down the texture for the bridge. Again, we've gone back to verse 1 texture, just vocals and piano, but the vocals are stronger than they were in the. They really build for that healing. When will my healing come? More tone on there, yeah. Voices are not as well joined as usual either. That's interesting. Not normally what we get, but the voices are not moving in tandem in the same way that they usually do. And there seems to be only 2 of them, so it's not the thickest we could be. But whatever. Ah! Because we had to wait for the hook to kick in to get the thick texture. We get that one, we get and we get as well. All 3 of those beautiful notes and moving in tandem. So it was really just a red herring. You thought everything was going off into the deep end of uncontrollable chaos. No, we were just setting you up to look like a fool when we came in with our measurable order and sense. What's this section then? Well, that is like the chorus, but we've lost the other instruments. We've only got the piano. Well, it doesn't feel like the chorus, although the chords are still like the chorus. Oh, although that's actually our chord that we normally get out of the chorus on. It's not in the chorus. Get that, and then that is our move to the next section chord. So we have emerged out of this hook, chorus and hook combo, in the same way that we did with the previous chorus. And the previous chorus before that. But we've got consecutively longer, haven't we? The first one, do I mean cumulatively longer? I don't know. I like consecutively longer. The first one, something like 8 beats. The second one, twice as long really, and with a pause at the end as well before we went into the bridge. This one, we've had 2 8-bar hooks and 1 8-bar chorus, so that, yeah, again another 8 bars added on, and then we've got this outro which feels like, yeah, the getting out of the chorus. So again, almost ended how we began there, but not quite. So it's not strong enough to call it an Aurora, an Aurora signifier, but she has done it on 2 consecutive tracks here.